No.
So like I say, right now, just you don't have too much in there at least. I'd say all that running around, he must have been emptying himself out.
I'll slide it back a little bit so he has room.
I think that's about as far as it goes. I think I'll have enough room here though. I have my latch to hold this thing up. I put it right in the wrong spot. It's right where the ejaculator needs to go.
Do it to hold that.
Is he normally a little twitchy, or is he starting to wake up a little bit? How did you do that before?
Video.
One more time? No. Okay, what I'm going to need you to do is hold this thing just like that. Make sure that this is pointed not straight down, but pretty much toward his hock right here.
Okay.
Put a little bit of pressure downward.
Okay.
You don't you don't want to really
Yeah.
crank it down, just enough to keep it in place. I wonder if I should let that take effect before I turn it on, just in case.
Yeah, sometimes they don't want to go down real good.
Plus it makes sure that there's no fecal material underneath there. Alright, and hold it in to where it is, right about there. See how it's got this little indentation here?
Yeah.
Make sure that indentation is in the...
To where that is in the end. Okay. Okay. That way it's in far enough. But you don't want to get it so far in that's too far forward. Okay. Right there. So my fingers.
We did not get very much from him.
go.
It's very concentrated. Which is what we had. Computer-assisted semen analysis systems that were big and bulky and took up all kinds of room. And this is one of the first ones on the market that is portable. It's called an sperm. And it is what's called a CASA unit, which is the computer-assisted semen analysis. And basically what it does, it counts the sperm, and it also looks at it to see what the motility is, etc. If I ever get everything going well, I'm going to buy a bigger trailer where I have more room inside. I don't know if you want to try to come up here where you can see this or not. Just watch your feet around that cable there. I should have told you could go ahead and take that out. Okay, so this, I don't know if can you see it there? And make sure not to shake the trailer any. So he did not produce much as far as volume, but he produced a very high concentration. So we're going to extend it out more, make it to where we can look at it, to where that we can get a better estimate. Unfortunately, when you get too high a concentration, you can't count it. Mm-hmm. This concentration is high enough that we can't really get a good count. So I'm going to extend it out a little further, make it to where I can count better, count with a different method as well. I mean, yeah, that was a teeny tiny little bit, but it looks like it's super concentrated and going to be what we want. You took that probe out? Yes, I'm going to count it under the microscope, which I actually need the other microscope, but I can put that up here in a moment. Because unfortunately, though that the sperm is good at giving accurate motility, is not good at giving an accurate concentration. So we use what's called a hemocytometer for concentration, to where you actually physically count the sperm cells and diluted solution. That's the other thing. If I get a bigger trailer, I can have a bigger incubator, which means I don't have to try to cram everything into that little tiny incubator. What this does, that mixes it a 10-to-1 dilution, which makes it to where that we don't spend an hour and a half trying to count them under the microscope. This thing should be easier to open than that.
A little bit tight.
Yeah, extremely tight. This one's brand new. That's the old one. I'm using a brand new one because the old one's gotten a bunch of scratches and stuff on it.
Saw it when you ready to take it back. I could run in there and work on a quote for Josh Stan.
Extender. Everyone I've talked to saying that they extend out to where it's 60 million per straw.
Mm-hmm.
This extender, they're telling me, well, that's for a half cc straw, okay? This extender, they're telling me that you extend out to 60 million per quarter cc straw. That means that you are going to have, for half cc straw, 2 half cc's means that you're going to have 120 million per cc. When you have 60 million per quarter cc straw, that means you're going to have 240 million per cc that you're going to do your concentration to. That makes it hard to get your your straws to come out the way you want them to for a half cc straw, unless you're specifically using a quarter cc straw. And we're not, because everyone I talk to says use half cc straws.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go somewhere in the middle. We're going to make each straw 100 million. That way we're bringing up our total per cc. You have to have your number of sperm per cc based on the amount of glycerol you have per cc. Because the sperm actually take up the glycerol. Too high a concentration is bad for the sperm cells. It interferes with the chemical that allows them to eat through the membranes of the egg. too low means that there's not enough in there. They're not going to survive the freezing and thawing. So we're going to go in the middle of what they recommend and what everyone wants. Bubbles. The number one issue that everyone is having with the ice sperm is getting air bubbles in the sperm. I have found a little bit of techniques to try to minimize that, but I'm still having issues with it, and everyone I talk to is having issues with it as well. That is the number one issue everyone is having with this ice sperm. When you have air bubbles in your sample, it makes it to where that the program cannot count it properly, cannot judge the motility properly because it's seeing air bubbles. When you read the instructions say to put the sperm on the top of one of these. I'm finding it works better if you make a little tiny pool of sperm or semen down here in the bottom of this one. We've been playing with this thing a lot in my classes. That's better. Okay. Go back. Maybe don't shake the trailer. Okay, so I'm saying 316 million right there. Okay. Save every bit we can.
It must have been highly concentrated.
It was highly concentrated, but you know what? It's still not going to yield the number that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I was wanting 120 straws. It ain't going to do it. That's what I was hoping for. Not 316 million for what I've got yet right there. I'll write up more formal later. Right now I'm just going to take notes. Oh, a sheet of paper. So as soon as it hit that powder line, see how there's nothing up there in the top? That's because as soon as it hit that line of that powder, it instantly turns into a gelatinous material, keeps it from going any further. Then we have straws that have semen from the bottom to the top. We need to have an air bubble in there. So we put it on what's called a bubbler comb that creates an air bubble in it. Okay, so once we get the bubbler comb full, then we take several of these, mash powder into the end of it. Again, that powder turns into a gel as soon as it hits liquid. Wipe off the excess. If you don't wipe the excess off, it will make them all stick together. wipe off the excess and see how you end up with bubbles in there. If you don't have those bubbles in there when you freeze the semen, it can actually cause these to burst. So by putting the bubbles in there, it keeps that from happening.
You're advertising for Blue Creek Whitetails.
I hadn't thought about that, you're right. I went to that convention down there and got a shirt for me, everyone that had a booth. And I love this shirt. It's a very comfortable shirt, very lightweight.
You must be getting paid.
I wish, maybe I should be getting paid. Or else you need to give me one of the shirts from your farm and I'll advertise for you.
We're working on that. Or will be soon.
That's me. I'm working on, I need to get a hat. I need to get the side of my trailer painted with the name. And we'll go up to higher magnification. When you go up to higher magnification, you may have to turn your light source up as well.
Okay.
So turn the light source up a little bit. It doesn't make as much change on the screen because the camera tries to adjust for it on its own. See how quick they're cooling down?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have a heated stage if you're looking at sperm. Unfortunately,
This is post fall.